Hello Sebastian, it's Grant. I have the back panel taken off of the Cornell Plexi here. It's held on by 4 simple screws. Right now all the tubes are in. I'm going to first take them out, give you a couple tips on how to properly remove these tubes, as well as then I'm going to reinstall them to let you know what you'll need to do once you get the amp. So the first one here, the largest tube, is the rectifier tube. It has 2 metal fins at the base. What you're going to want to do is put a finger on each side, on each fin. Press down to separate the fins. And then put 2 fingers on either side of the rectifier tube. You can put your fingers on the glass. And you're going to lift up, but you're going to also rock back inside gently. And try to use as little bit of force and just increase as you move along. So that way, when the tube eventually pops out of the socket, you're not going to be jamming it up against the top of the cabinet here. So it's okay to touch the glass. You want to put a finger on each side of the tube and gently rock the tube back and forth. It's safe to rock the tubes within the socket a little bit and move it up. Now, the power tubes here have these springs and plates on top of them, which hold them in place. So I'm lifting the plate above and setting it down in front of it. And then the same method where you put a finger on each side, rock it back and forth, and have some sort of towel or something soft that you can put the tubes on so they're not going to roll around and they'll be safe. Now, the preamp tubes do have covers. I forgot about that when I was initially talking with you. These are held on by springs inside these tubes, so you need to push down, rotate slightly clockwise, and then you can lift the cover off. The cover is held in place by a little notch in this groove here, and there's a little notch here at the base where it can slip out of. So you press down, rotate, align it with the notch at the base, and then you're able to lift the cover off. And it'll be basically the same thing in reverse and how to install it. And just like all the other tubes, a finger on each side, you gently rock it back and forth and lift up. Alright, so I've got them all removed, and I'm going to do it now in reverse and show you how to install them. With the rectifier tube here, see there is a plastic pin in the middle, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it here in the video, but on one side of the pin here, so kind of between these 2 pins right here. So there's a set of 3 pins, and between these 2 there's a little kind of strip on this plastic metal, or this plastic pin in the center. And in the socket here, there is a notch in the center where this pin goes. So this pin can only get installed one way. So you just look at that pin, look at the strip on the pin, look at the notch in the center of the socket, place 2 fingers on the blades, separate them with the tube aligned, place it down, gently apply pressure as you rock it back and forth. Now, you won't be able to install these wrong, so if you're feeling a lot of resistance, stop and check your alignment again, because you shouldn't have a lot of resistance. There's going to be slight resistance, but you shouldn't be pressing down and feeling like you're going nowhere. And with these power tubes, they have a ring of tubes with a slight gap in one place. And for these tubes, that slight gap is facing this direction. So it's facing about this way where my fingers are. So you align the notches, and you should be able to place the tube in the notches correctly and get it started. And then once you have it started, you just press down gently. You can rock a little bit until it's making solid contact. And then you take this plate with the springs, lift the plate above the tube, and it kind of snugly fits over this little tip and presses and holds it down. The power tube, make sure the plate is out of the way. I'll align the pins and gently rock it back and forth. Lift the plate up and put it over the tip. With the preamp tubes, their pins are aligned more of the opposite direction. They're aligned more this way. Sorry, it's hard to. This direction. So the hole where there aren't all the pins here is facing this direction. It also doesn't hurt when you're installing them. If you go to press them in and if you're feeling resistance, just go ahead and lift it up a little bit, rotate it around, and gently press down until you feel it to begin to put it into the slot. So I have this one and I've got it rocked in place. Now with the cover, there's these little notches here at the base. That's what you're going to want to align with this notch here, or this notch is the same on both sides. So you start by placing it over the tip, pressing down, there is a spring, and then once you have it clear, you give it a clockwise rotate. So you angle it over the tip, align the notch on the base plate with the notch in the bottom of the cover, press down. Once it's gotten into this little opening here, give it a slight clockwise rotate and release. So that's how you install the tubes, put the covers on. And if you are coming across any issues or have any questions, feel free to message me later once you've gotten the amp. So I hope that was helpful. I mean, obviously I can't go into too much detail and my hands were, I'm sure, blocking the view some of the time, but hope you enjoy the amplifier, and I'll look forward to getting your feedback once you've tried it out.